Welcome to the American Airlines takeoff. Beautiful South Florida Memorial Day weekend. Glad to have you with us for this Eastern Conference clash as the Free Jacks make the trip south to take on the Sharks. Second meeting all time between these two. Alongside Mark Sabina, I'm Kit McConico. A very happy Memorial Day weekend to you. Mark, big time matchup here in the East. Obviously, the Free Jacks top of the table coming off a very impressive victory on the road last week at San Diego. They're undefeated on the road this season, facing a Miami team coming off a bye. But is that rest going to give them enough to get over on the defending champions?
Isn't it always a pleasure to watch New England play, especially when they're on top of their game, which they seem to be right now. But I can't help feeling that the focus is going to be on Miami today. At home, they're in 5th place in the Eastern Conference. If they want to start turning their season around, make a run for this playoffs, it has to be today. And what better way to do it than against the defending champions in front of their home crowd? It's going to be a cracker.
It will indeed. Take a look at our Oval 3 head-to-head comparison. Who are you keeping an eye on?
It'll be a battle royale in the centers today as Miami's Uruguayan international star Tomas Inciarte must try and contain New England's Canadian international and captain Ben Lesage. Both have played all 10 matches for their teams this season and have touched the ball around the same amount of times. However, Lesage's stats seem to prove he may be more effective with ball in hand, but defensively, the numbers suggest that Inciarte has the edge. Either way, there will be fireworks when these two players clash today.
A beautiful evening in South Florida. We'll take a look at the starting lineups and have opening kick when we return. It's the Sharks and the Free Jacks coming up next.
It's time to hit. It's time to pass. It's time to train, step, and tackle. It's time for tradition. And time for brotherhood. It's rugby time, America. It's rugby time, America.
May is Mental Fitness Month.
Major League Rugby is partnered with USI Insurance Services and Looseheads
in a united effort to tackle the stigma.
Together, we are committed to changing the game
with the mission of placing a mental health lead in every rugby club
around the world.
Today's presentation of Major League Rugby is brought to you by Globin, the official digital transformation partner of MLR. When technology meets passion, the unthinkable happens. By American Airlines, travel is better when you're an Advantage member. And by Sports Breaks, the official fan travel partner of Major League Rugby. Now it's time for the Ole Maria starting lineups. For the host, a front row, former Welsh international Rob Evans, Sean McNulty, Missouri native Alec McDonald back as the starting tight end. Former South African U20 Roll Smith is in the number 7, alongside Ben Bonasso, and the vice captain Uruguayan international Manuel Ardal comprise the back row. In the backs for Miami, Argentine international Tomás Cubelli returns at 9 to captain the side. He pairs with Chilean international Santiago Vilela at 10. Uruguayan international Tomás Inciarte completes the Cono Sur trifecta as he moves to outside center alongside Scottish international Nick Rigg. Miami, led by Jose Pelacena, the 47-year-old former scrum half and Los Pumitas head coach. Setuhole has a chance to make his pro debut as a front row replacement. Canadian international Giuseppe Toy moves to the bench alongside the very welcome return of Eric Naposki. Now we'll take a look at the starters for the visitors. 2 changes in the front row from a side that beat San Diego on the road last week. Canadian internationals getting the starts, and Andrew Quatron at hooker and Cole Keith at tight end. Fellow Canadian international Kyle Bailey gets a start in the second row, with Canadian U20 Ethan Pryor getting his first MLR start on the blind side flank. Take a look at the backs. A very welcome return as all eyes are on number 10 as Jason Patros is back from injury, the Free Jacks leading scorer. Canadian international Isaac Olsen on the left wing in his first MLR start. Maybe an international Rue Milan gets a start at 12, and Daniel Morgan Pudarangi moves to 15. The defending champions led by Scott Matthew, the 41-year-old South African, former Sharks scrum half, has Cook, former All Blacks U20 Halanatside and Jenkinson providing front row cover, with round 12 first 15 center Wayne Vanderbank highlighting their replacement backs. Underway in Miami. Glad to have you with us here on FS2. The Sharks and the Free Jacks Eastern Conference clash here in South Florida. Alongside Mark Sabine, I'm Kit McConico. We'll bring in the third member of our crew, Thomas Grant, pitch side in just a moment. First, take a look at our Arctic Outdoors match officials. Andrew Cole of Ireland is our referee. Former United Rugby Championship assistant. Officiated his first MLR match in round 11, Chicago against Old Glory. He's assisted by Miles McIver and Tom Ciampa. Derek Summers is the TMO. It is warm, hot, and humid in South Florida, as you would imagine. Temperature 87 degrees. The humidity mark is 63, so it makes it feel like it's closer to 94. Something to keep in context for this match. Also a breeze, as you can see there from the assistant's flag, going from right to left across the field. First set piece, it'll be the line-out throw. No trouble there for Quatron, the Canadian international. Patros is back in the 15. Free Jacks very happy to have him. What a difference Jason Patros makes. Last year's Player of the Year, leading scorer, first team All MLR. Take a look at your keys to the game, brought to you by USI.
Yeah, Kit, for Miami, they have the best tackle success percentage in the league and the second highest number of dominant tackles, which they'll need tonight to stop New England, who have the highest number of clean line breaks in MLR. And because New England have the highest number of dominant tackles in the competition with a blitzing defensive line, Miami needs to mix up their attack to keep their opposition guessing. For New England, when they raise the pace of the game, they are hard to keep up with, which is partly why they have scored the most tries in the East. And teams have been able to target New England's vulnerable scrum and line-out, so solidifying their set piece will prevent Miami doing the same.
New England trying to find points early. Last week at Snapdragon Stadium, they were down early to San Diego. In fact, they trailed 13-3 at halftime, but then 21 points unanswered to start the second half, ultimately enough to secure them the victory. They do not want to get in a similar position here today. Outside, LaRue Milan, the Namibian international, tries to find a bit of space. Miami, no chance to poach it at the breakdown. And his first receiver, Fryer, the youngster, his first MLR start, came through the Free Jacks Academy, the former independent. Now Quatron. New England looking dangerous early on. Calameti has Patros. Milan out wide. And up into there, Olsen, the young British Columbian Canadian international, another man making his first MLR start, as it'll be Miami pinged for offside. So far, Mark, all New England, and you can see they want to get off to a good start on the road.
A ferocious pace from the defending champions, setting their intentions early. Even that Patros early little chip over the top, like they've come to play, taking some risks.
And take a look at our SCCG betting lines. Obviously, New England, as the defending champion, the favorite here. They took the first matchup between these two back at Fort Quincy earlier in the season. And it is going to be the first points going to the Free Jacks, wasting no time. 3.5 minutes in, and they're able to dot one down. 5-0, New England on top early.
Oh, the Free Jacks wasting no time. Wow, what a dominant display from 1 to 15 from the kickoff. All they needed to do was get some territory. It seems like Miami is still just trying to catch their breath at the moment.
Seta Baker, the man able to dot it down. The 23-year-old out of Auckland, first year with the Free Jacks for the former Tasman Mako man back in NPC in his native New Zealand. You get a look there at Scott Matthey. He was the 2022 MLR Coach of the Year for the Durban, South Africa native. There he is. He is back. New England thrilled to have last year's Player of the Year. It Sims his first goal kick, and he will send it through, successful on the conversion. So that makes him 30 for 45, just over 66% on the season. This was the injury against Chicago, and he has been out ever since that round 10 matchup. They have obviously missed a man of his caliber and abilities, but thrilled to have him back for this final push.
Well, especially as New England have some other season-ending injuries to contend with.
Now, you said it, Reese McDonald's still out. Hopefully he'll be back next week. He's second in the league in most tries scored with 7. They are also without Vion Conradi, out for the season. Josh Larson out as well, Zach Basher, Sean Ralph, and last week's first 15 honoree, Piers Van Donelson, all not in the 23 today for New England.
Let's not forget John Poland. What a huge loss from early this season.
Yeah, those are some big names for the defending champion, but it really just speaks to the depth they have as a side. And LaRue Milan spoke about that earlier this week, what Scott Matthey's been able to do. The foundation has been laid, and you see that, the talent they have. And you and I know it is going to take a lot to get, as the defending champion, to get them back to that shield and to take another. Mentioned Reese McDonald. What a try this was on the road at LA, but ultimately he would pay the price.
Yeah, talk about putting your body on the line. Unfortunately, that was a try, but it came at a cost.
It certainly did. Miami looking to respond. Here comes the former Welsh international. Evans gives it a crack. Now Aravao, the Uruguayan. Vice captain upended by Quattrin. Videla into the hands of Inciarte. Miami trying to respond after conceding early. Coeli, 92 caps with the Pumas for the Argentine. Looking for the gap. Scoring has been an issue for Miami all season. You mentioned it. Just 24 tries. That is fewest in the league, as Morgan Pudarangi blasted upon letting that one go. But for Miami, the defense has been there. The attack, something they're still trying to find for this first-year franchise. A touch finder here. Miami doing a very good job, able to keep the kick from Morgan Pudarangi in. The man who's moved from 10 to fullback with the return of Patros this week.
Oh, it was an exceptional kick from Pudarangi, and even better was keeping it in the field of play, because that would have been a 50-22 and a line-out throw further down the field to New England.
Back to Quattrin. Poor throw that time, not locating his target, so he miscue on the line-out for the all-honorable mention of last year. Canadian international hooker. Trying to find a bit of space out wide, bobbled, not able to hold on. Michael Hand on loan from Chicago and able to get on the end of it. It was Inciarte, the Uruguayan international, the intended target.
Just a little shaky with ball in hand at the moment. I still feel like they're shell-shocked after New England just came out with a blistering pace. Execution not quite there as the ball went across the hands of the backs, and certainly didn't help that Isaac Olsen came in and laid down the boom as well.
Also his MLR debut, the 23-year-old from British Columbia, a Canadian international already, but now making his debut in the league. We talked about that for the Free Jacks, obviously missing so much talent, but you have players like Fryer, Olsen making their first starts, I should say, in the 23, but in the 15 for the first time. That really speaks volumes to what kind of program they had. And Milan said it, they have the foundation to bring these young players in, and there is very little discernible drop off.
So true, as you see that scrum success percentage come up. Not great. Talked about it in the keys. Not the most solid set piece for New England, which is surprising. It's definitely an area in need of improvement, but on that occasion, they won the scrum penalty, so that's good news for the set piece of New England. Not so good for Miami. They need every break they can get right now.
Here in South Florida, Inter Miami CF Sports Field at Florida Blue Training Center.
Kit, speaking of break, they just got one with Jason Potros' kick.
They sure did.
Going dead. So really, that should be a line-out throw closer to the Miami try line. Instead, it comes all the way back.
There is Jose Pelacena, the former Argentina U20 head coach, assisted by Oscar Duran, the former Uruguayan test prop. Tui Osborne, the former Eagles fullback, is another assistant on this side. A lot of impressive resumes on the coaching staff for the first-year franchise. Miami better in the scrum, and that is what they need to do. This is a chance for them to really put some pressure on New England. Just looking at the stats, Miami takes a lot of pride in the set piece. We'll see what they can do with it today. Well, Miami picking up some territory, and with that, we will welcome in the third member of our crew down pitch side, Thomas Grant.
Yeah, thanks, Kit, and a beautiful pitch side it is here tonight in Fort Lauderdale. Conditions reached 91 degrees today, and if anything is going to play into Miami's favour, it's that the Free Jacks have not really met conditions like this at all in Major League Rugby. They're used to training in the cold, dark winters of Boston, so they're coming here today to beat the heat. That is a big scrum penalty for Miami as they play on here and look to strike back pretty quickly.
Yeah, they will indeed. Thank you, Thomas. So obviously the home pitch advantage with the weather as well. Michael Hand trying to get involved is the right wing. We mentioned the scrum. Something Miami is going to have to be dominant in today to have a shot right into the hands of Lesage, the captain, able to bat it back, finds Connor Keys, one Canadian international to another, Morgan Pudarangi. Looking for space in behind, none to be had. Miami returning fire. Potros, plenty of time to reload and send it the other way. But Mark, you can see New England, we've said it on more than one occasion, wasting no time. They have come out of the gates on fire, really looking to put the pressure on the hosts.
And you can see, you're right, Kit, the defense here just putting the pressure on. We know that they race up quickly, New England, but they also have some of the most dominant tackles, actually #1 in the league for dominant tackles. That's because they get off the line and they tackle hard.
Able to locate Bonasso there, the USA Eagle, down with it, Miami. Coeli there at the back, finally taking his time. Up across midfield into Free Jacks territory. Bailey unable to rip it away. No penalty to Miami. Bailey, the Canadian international, gets the start in the second row. One of 5 Canadian internationals in the starting 15 today for the Free Jacks. This for the first time, Ben Lesage wearing the captain's armband for New England. Miami taking some territory. Keys, see if he can steal the incoming line out. McNulty. Van de Hoven able to bat it back, has Bonasso finally wrestled to the ground. Coeli quickly to Evans, the former Scarlets man. Now Smith. Will pass back, Miami inside the 22. Sharks, another opportunity. They need to come away with points here. Here comes McDonald. Ardao. Back it goes, Echeverri lost it. And Mark, you wonder with the conditions, particularly the humidity, will that play a factor in the handling errors? We've seen a few knock-ons, not really because of the weather, because of the defense and that line speed you mentioned from New England.
Quite possibly, Kit. You're absolutely right. You would rather, as a player, that it be raining and have the water on the ball than sweat. When it is hot and humid, that ball, for some reason, is way slippier. It's like a bar of soap in humid conditions. Hopefully it doesn't get quite to that stage today, but you can already see a lot of perspiration. And with big tackling like you just mentioned as well. That's what New England's trying to do. They do not want to let Miami settle into this game. And they look unsettled, don't they, right now? That's definitely a tactic of New England's. Because Miami, once they settle in and they get their confidence, they can play some fantastic rugby.
They can indeed. Going to the top side, Sharks looking for a bit of space. And Echeverri again unable to take it cleanly. Went backwards. Miami retains possession as the Uruguayan international bundled to touch. But just as we spoke of, the handling errors, here's another.
Yeah, that might be exactly what you're talking about there. That did not seem like a difficult pass to take for Echeverri. Could it be slippery out there? Because he doesn't normally drop those ones.
Mitch Wilson picked up his 50th MLR cap last week, did the USA Eagle. Congratulations to him joining that auspicious club. Miami with a bye week last week, but maybe not totally a bye week. As you take a look at New England and the line-out success, that is not where you want to be. Bottom of the standings, just over 75%. The scrum, the line-out, set piece has been an Achilles heel this year. As good as the defending champions are, those are things they want to bring up and certainly need to improve upon with the playoffs looming.
Well, and imagine if they do. They're on top of the East right now with statistics like that in the set piece.
As I said, Miami the bye week last week, but they sent 19 players down to the Cayman Islands to train with the Cayman national team as they will get ready to play Mexico coming up on May the 31st. So doing everything they can to spread rugby here in North America and the Caribbean. Well, if you are not already, you're missing out. It is simple as that. It is MLR All Access every Tuesday right here on FS2. Stacey Pates, Mark Sabina do an absolutely fantastic job. Great highlights, phenomenal interviews. They have special guests. They pick matches, bring you behind-the-scenes content, and get you ready for the next week of action. Tuesdays on FS2, MLR All Access. Bueli puts in. This is what Miami expects to see from their forwards. And as I say that, lost right into the hands of Bonasso. But back we will go for the scrum penalty. And right now, Miami forwards having their way.
Looks like we might have an injury to the ref as well. We'll check on that in a minute. Dominant scrum, Miami. That'll help them settle in.
And you're right, Andrew Cole down being attended to is our referee. Mentioned the Ireland native, assistant referee in a United Rugby Championship, where he has been a stalwart there for a long time. This just his first season in MLR, just his second match in charge after that round 11 Chicago versus Old Glory opener. Sometimes those are the worst. No one around.
Ouch.
Ouch is right. No, he will try to shake it off. We talked about rugby players being soft. I think you can say the officials are as well.
Well, I was just about to say, we forget how important it is for the referees to be physically fit, just like the players out there. They're going to keep up with the play. They train extremely hard. They need to be in peak physical condition also.
Miles McIver, Tom Ciampa are our assistants. Kim Calametti there, the scrum half, the 24-year-old, former England U18, former Newcastle Falcon. One of the new additions for New England. So much returning talent as they've had, they've been able to add some impressive new pieces as well. Felipe Echeverri ready to send this right on the spot, setting up that 5-meter line out for the Sharks. Can they use it to find their first points of the match? Well placed from the Uruguayan international. Long throw, Bonasso there, trying to get the driving maul, but it's lost right into the hands of the Free Jacks. Missed opportunity. Oh, what an offload here. Here comes New England the other way. Morgan Pudarangi out wide, gives a kick into space. This one staying in play. It's going to be a foot race to it in the in-goal area. Pudarangi. Did he get a fingertip to it? What a job from Danny and Morgan Pudarangi.
Amazing. Well, winning the foot race, but did he ground it? He doesn't seem to be overly confident that he did. It looked like there might have been a bounce of the ball. We'll soon find out. Regardless, an outstanding effort. It all started here, just not quite clinical. And didn't New England punish Miami for that error? This is what they can do. And they will not hesitate to run the ball out. Perfectly weighted kick. Look how it just sits up in the try zone. And that is not a big in-goal area, by the way. I tell you what, it needs to show that there was a clear grounding.
Our TMO, Derek Summers, will take a look. And you're right, very difficult to tell. A 27-year-old Kiwi, first year in Major League Rugby for the North Harbor man. It's just, we will see. It's going to be hard to tell. Here's the best look we've had thus far.
Broadcast, play that again.
Now, don't be fooled, Kit. When you see the ball bounce that high, it does not necessarily mean that it wasn't grounded. Obviously, it won't be a try if it's bounced. That can happen.
Mark, you said it here in Miami, these shallow in-goal areas, not a lot of space. He was fortunate to get on the end of that, but was he able to dot it down? And you get the grounding, and will he have 5 points to add to New England's side of the scoreboard as well? And you hear, there is the call. No try, says Andrew Cole. Did not get a grounding. New England's fullback, so stays 7-0 in favor of the visitors.
Well, that takes nothing away from the effort of Morgan Pudarangi. I think it was a fair call, a difficult one to call. I'd hate to be in that TMO chair right now. Derek Summers got his work cut out for him already early in the game.
Very happy to be next to you in the broadcast booth. We'll let Mr. Summers do his job there in the TMO. Right you are. That was a difficult one. Miami able to win it and maybe a bit of momentum. New England unable to get the try. Now Miami back with it, but they need to find something in attack. We mentioned the try-scoring struggles that they have dealt with all season long against a team as talented as New England. You can't not take advantage of these opportunities, I should say. You have to find points because New England will. Patros, the high hanger. Echeverri. Little show and go inside, has Inciarte. Tomas Inciarte across midfield. Here comes Inciarte. Out wide looking for Ardao. Manuel Ardao drugged down from behind. Did he knock it on? They're going to say that was a forward pass from one Uruguayan international to another. Inciarte trying to find his Terros teammate there in Ardao.
Already we see the direction this game is taking. It's going to be open. There's going to be a lot of free flowing, free running and free passing rugby. Unfortunately, that one deemed forward. But mark my words, you're going to see plenty more of that. And you talk about taking opportunities. Miami didn't take the opportunity before where it was a great steal from Ardao at the ruck, but the kick didn't go out. Patros was there to catch it and reef it all the way back, and Miami had to start again. So these little errors are hurting Miami right now. New England are handing them some opportunities, like the line out before, close to the try line, and they're just not taking them at that stage. They need to settle things down.
You saw the discipline. That has been an issue for Miami. Penalties conceded. They've given up 13 yellow cards. Only Los Angeles has seen more. Echeverri back to the boot. Over 55 meters on that kick. His hand out to touch, unable to get by Olsen.
And Kit, those statistics that are coming up on your screen just emphasize my point. 59% possession, 74% territory, 0 points on the scoreboard for
says it
Miami.
all.
So not taking their opportunities. It doesn't mean they're not getting any.
We'll take the opportunity for our first hydration break. 20 minutes in, New England leading 7-0 in this Eastern Conference clash.
I have to say my favorite Thorne product is creatine.
White protein, vitamin D,
Super EPA.
Fish oil pills.
I chose to take Thorne supplements over another brand because they're sports backed. We know it's tested and it's safe to use. There's a wide variety of benefits that range from sports performance to neurological benefits. I know it helps me increase my lifting capacity.
That they're third-party tested, that they're NSF certified.
And they also taste great, so that's why I choose Thorne.
Welcome to the Rugby Rundown on the Rugby Network. Join myself, Alex Corbacero, and Will Hooley as we bring you your weekly rugby fix.
With the big news, special guests, and unparalleled access, this is your rugby show.
From college rugby, Premiership Women's Rugby, MLR, and more, we've got you covered.
Watch exclusively on the Rugby Network.
Come along for the ride as we bring you the Rugby Rundown.
Well, welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. The players taking a very well-earned hydration break in the heat here at Fort Lauderdale. And I'm joined here by Miami Sharks player Chase Shaw-Haskin, out with a little bit of an MCL strain at the moment, but hope to see you back on the field very soon. Now, you are modelling the great mental fitness tee for us. All MLR sides are warming up in the shirt throughout the May, aiming to tackle the stigma on mental fitness, and really keen to get your perspective as a player. How do you stay mentally fit?
Yeah, so it starts every day with a positive mindset, positive words, checking in and having real vulnerable conversations with people you trust, and reflecting, journaling on your day. Those are some tips that I have. Stay mentally fit.
Wonderful words, Chase. And you played rugby sevens for the United States of America, which requires you to stay physically fit. How do you take your seven skills into the game of 15s? What are the biggest learnings for you?
Yeah, so in sevens we're used to having a lot of space to work with, but we have to create things on the fly. So for me, being a flanker, loose forward that kind of plays on the edge, I get to bring that same experience that I have in open field and bring that into my game and hopefully work with the backs and defend the open space as well. So that's kind of a good transition from sevens to 15s. It brought me a lot of experience there.
Thank you for your time, Chase, and thanks for spreading the awareness of mental fitness. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Back up to you, Kit.
Absolutely. Thank you, Thomas, and thanks to Chase as well. And MLR spreading the mental health awareness as here comes Echeverri up the field. Flying forward is the Uruguayan. Echeverri has a man out wide, able to find Oideman, who stays in. The Canadian had a bit of space, closed quickly. McDonald's first receiver, right into the arms of Connor Keys. Knocked back. Big men Escubelli looking for Inciarte, able to hold on, nearly intercepted. Inciarte. Keys coming across, the Ontario native had a chance to pick it off, could not. Miami just trying to retain possession. Another trip inside New England's 22. They have come away empty-handed every time. Getting close to that double-digit phase mark, but more important is the points. Fans on their feet here in South Florida. Not wrapped up, trying to find a bit of space through. Roll Smith, the former South African U20 that time. Staunch defending from the Free Jacks. Finally a chance to catch our breath. The whistle from Andrew Cole.
Much better play from Miami with ball in hand. Staying patient, not rushing. Some simple rugby there, just trying to make some inroads on the New England defense, which was outstanding. Good, clever little play behind the decoy runner, and Echeverri opens them up. Finds his support. Whitterman was there. Great cover defense from New England coming across. And then here's where they just batter away. You could say at the strength of the New England defense, but Miami were undeterred. They just chipped away at that defensive line, inch by inch.
And it'll be Santiago Villela, the Chilean international, just over 72% in goal kicking, and he has Miami on the board. 24 minutes in, New England 7, Miami 3.
And that's what they needed, Kit, just to settle the nerves a little bit. Rewarded for that offensive effort.
Villela, part of Chile's 2023 Rugby World Cup side, a long-time 7 series man. First year in MLR after being a vet there with Selknam in Super Rugby Americas. Miami very happy to have his services as they are on the board. Hoping that that will give them the early boost of confidence here at home. We mentioned all the absences for New England. Miami, a few of their own. Dan Pryor, not in the 23, a big absence there. Is the former Maori All Black, and alongside Tavita Sole, who's on loan from New England, not getting a chance to go against the Free Jacks today. Off the fingertips. Keys couldn't control it. Miami trying to find space in behind. Morgan Pudarangi there. Looking to run it out of his own 22, and he's wrapped up. McNulty and Miami with it. Kumeli out wide, able to find Grigg. The Scottish international has Echeverri. Inciarte cuts in, and Roll Smith dots it down to put the host ahead. Miami with their first lead of the match. Roll Smith, the Eastern Cape native, dots it down for his first 5.
Listen to that roar of the home crowd. They've been treated to some exciting rugby, but what they really want are points, and they finally crossed that try line. Now they seem to be finding their groove, Miami, in this game. Started with some defensive pressure and the turnover. What about the hands from Nick Grigg to then get the ball away to Inciarte? The inside ball, so clever to Smet, taking advantage of the New England defensive line that had to quickly turn from offense into defense. Miami found the holes.
Villela looking to extend the lead to 3. He's 1 for 1. But he pushes it wide to the left, so it stays Miami 8, New England 7. Villela with the misconversion. But the fans in South Florida, a lot to cheer about with the former Cheetahs man on the board to give them their first lead.
This kickoff too, so important, Kit. Don't we always talk about it? Once you score a try, taking this cleanly, because New England are going to want to turn this ball over or keep Miami in this part of the field. They'll put the pressure on.
They will indeed. For Miami, this is an opportunity on the board. It was New England clearly the aggressor early on, and now we'll see how Scott Matthews' men are able to respond. They've been in some battles this year, obviously 7-3, but they've been better on the road than they have been at Fort Quincy. They're unbeaten on the road, and they very much would like to keep that. But they are certainly in for a fight here today. Lamedi Baker wanted it as first receiver. Morgan Pudarangi unable to hold on. It ends up with Wilson. Lamedi back to the open side, knocked back. Now it's Miami quick to the gain line, making some big hits are the Sharks. But we'll go back for the penalty as this was knocked on. Thomas said it early. You look at the weather, what it's been like the last few months and even a few weeks in New England. It's a good 20, sometimes 30 degrees cooler, not having to deal with the humidity. It'll get hot and humid in the Boston area come this summer, but that is not hit yet. It is well here in South Florida. And these men may be dealing with some of those effects.
And you know what's going to help Miami in conjunction with that weather being the way it is that they are number 2 in the league for dominant tackles. Best way to dislodge a ball, a slippery ball, is with a dominant tackle. And we've already seen how they've managed to do that. Well, actually both teams for that matter, because these are the top 2 teams in the league for dominant tackles.
That ball scored it out. We will have a scrum reset, says Andrew Cole. Bueli, the captain, turns 34, I should say 35 in June, but what an impressive resume from that man. Former Biarritz star, like the man to my left. 92 caps with the Argentines.
You remembered, kid. It was a long time ago.
So I mentioned Soleil earlier. He's been recalled to New England. Part of the travel squad as an injury reserve last week at San Diego. So he is back with the Free Jacks, and I'm sure happy to have his services. The fans making some noise here, trying to bring the atmosphere. We mentioned the large contingent of South Americans on this side. Argentina, Uruguay, Chile, all represented. If you've seen a rugby match in any of those countries, it is a festival, and they certainly bring that atmosphere here as well to Florida Blue Training Center. One of the great things of all the venues in MLR have their unique flavors. Obviously, Fort Quincy up there in Massachusetts, one of the toughest places to play. For a first-year franchise to have this kind of home pitch advantage speaks volumes to what Miami's been able to accomplish.
Yeah, you love to see it, don't you? Not just see it, but we can hear it, as you mentioned. Very festival, carnival type atmosphere. Can only bode well for the Miami players.
Bueli. Videla, a little kick through. Also able to get on the end of this is Patros, and after that electric start, New England, things have cooled off considerably for the visitors, now trailing by a single point. But we mentioned last week they were down at half, and then a torrid second half. 21 points unanswered, able to get them that victory at San Diego. Well, if you are not already subscribed, you are missing out. It is free, live, and on demand. Can't ask for a whole lot more. They have all matches archived for your viewing pleasure, all available on demand, as well as great highlights and behind the scenes content at rugbynetwork.com. McNulty, the Leinster Academy product. Onto the big Dutchman, Vandenhoven. Grigg. Oh, what a tackle there from Wilson. Giving up some size and no trouble. Knocked on. Starting to see those handling errors mount on both sides. Baker, always one of the top tacklers. If he hits you, you're going to feel it.
Sure will. And that was just a little bit of a misfire, perhaps miscommunication as well. Not sure McNulty was ready for that one. The ball didn't go to his chest, nowhere near it. This New England defense, you really need to be clinical, putting passes accurately in front of the man.
Cole Keith, a few words for the New Brunswick native with our referee. Like the Free Jacks have most of the provinces of Canada represented on this roster. It's an impressive feat in itself, with as much talent as they have north of the border. We've seen what their women's side has been able to do of late. Hats off, incredibly impressive stuff.
Aren't they on fire?
They really are. Calameti waiting for the instruction to send this one in, and we'll have to wait a bit longer. We said it, this is an area where Miami needs to take advantage. They have the better forward pack, at least according to the stats. See if they can win one against the head here. Put more pressure on New England and going into the sheds. Jose Pelacena looking on. Platform provided for Kelametti. Elects to come here to Patros to the near side. Milan with a kick through. Oh, fielded very nicely just at the 22. Echeverri again, so slippery on the Videla. Echeverri, ball in hand, has been a nightmare today for the Free Jacks to deal with. Ueli with the box kick. Neither side able to take it cleanly. As Miami pinged there at the breakdown, so back it goes. Free Jacks ball just on Miami's side of midfield. You see the territory you mentioned. Territory is great, but if you don't do anything with it, it's all for naught.
So true, Kit, and you saw that kick, the box kick from Kubeli, the captain. Expect to see a lot more of those, try and create those 50-50s. It was well weighted, 4.5 seconds of hang time. It's a good amount of hang time that allows your chasers to get underneath it, contest the ball, make it difficult for New England to take it cleanly.
Patros attempting the penalty. He's 1 for 1 off the tee, made his conversion on Baker's try in the 4th minute. But he's unable to send this through. Wide to the right goes Patros. He is now 30 for 46 in goal kicking on the season, just about 66%.
A little bit lower than the stage of the season in 2023. His Player of the Year season. We saw averaging 9 points per game. Part of the reason why we see him often taking the Player of the Match award.
Pride of Francis Douglas Memorial College in Taranaki, or the Kiwi, part of their MPC winning side last season. Ueli, Echeverri again. Patros. Echeverri takes this one inside his own 5-meter line. And to touch, the kick goes from the Uruguayan international. Just 4 minutes remaining in this first half. Can either side find points? It would obviously give them a huge boost going into the sheds at the break. But right now, Miami giving the defending champions everything they can handle.
That's right, and you see New England through Patros trying to camp them down, but doing a fine job of exiting, bring it all the way to the halfway, Miami.
A good line out there into the hands of Bailey, and they needed that. New England just 71% before that successful line out. Watch it. Well, Miami again penalized. We mentioned that it's been an issue. Discipline has plagued the Sharks this year. See what Patros elects to do here, and he will bring out the tee, kicking for post yet again. He missed the previous opportunity, and he will have a chance to rectify it here. 1 for 2 in goal kicking today is Patros. Led Major League Rugby with 120 points last year. 1 try, 15 penalties, 35 conversions. Player of the Year. Another miss, his 2nd in a row, so it stays Miami on top by a point as we head down back to the pitch to check in with Thomas.
Yeah, thanks, Kit. Well, it's not quite the blue, beautiful skies that we had here early on in the match. As you can see behind me, things are getting a little bit dark and gloomy, and there is some lightning in the area, unfortunately, here in Fort Lauderdale, which means we could see a little bit of a delay at the halftime break. If lightning is within 6 miles, there is a 30-minute delay to the match. So just preparing you fans at home, you have a little bit more time at halftime to grab yourself a refreshment and a snack. Back up to you, Kit.
Yeah, right you are. Thank you, Thomas, playing meteorologist as well, sideline reporter, multi-talented is Mr. Grant. But as you can clearly see at home, the skies have changed, as Thomas illustrated.
Look at this steal from Aldao. He's been outstanding at breakdown time tonight. When it seems like New England are on the charge and Miami are on the back foot, you have huge plays like that from the vice captain.
And the 25-year-old Uruguayan, an absolute first-class breakdown operator, and he has been for some time with Los Teros, Uruguay's national team, and now the Sharks have his services in that form as well. Well, you heard earlier, Thomas spoke with Chase Shore-Haskin, and May is indeed a Mental Health Awareness Month. Major League Rugby is proudly partnered with USI and Looseheads to tackle the stigma around mental health throughout the month of May. MLR athletes are stepping forward to share the significance of mental fitness in their lives. We invite you to do the same. Join the conversation with us using the hashtag MLR Mental Fitness on social media. Ardao doing it on both sides. Ueli back at Echeverri. Bonasso able to bump off one would-be tackler. Miami now inside the 22. Maybe their final opportunity of the first half. Ardao right at Bailey as Bailey drives him back. Nearly stolen away by New England, and they are going to get it. What a job. Miami not releasing, and full credit there to New England. Fantastic work at the breakdown.
Yeah, trading penalties at the ruck at the moment, both these teams. Wonderful flat pass on the charge, Ardao. And then bringing it back the other way. Clever passing. Just getting a little isolated here was Bonasso. Managed to get the ball back. But New England choosing their moment to poach. And look where they are now after that penalty.
That was Ethan Fryer, the Issaquah, Washington native and Canadian U20 in his first MLR start, able to poach it. Those young talents for the Free Jacks. You see the reaction there. Miami holding strong as the first half comes to a close, and the Sharks will take a 1-point lead into the sheds. A battle in South Florida. The defending champions, their hands full with the Sharks. Take a look at our first half try summary brought to you by Kappa. Baker got things started in the fourth. Roloff Smith able to respond in the 28 for Miami. But just a single point separating these two at half. All to play for in the final 40. We'll step aside. When we return, we'll take a look at some of the week's highlights. Take a look at standings. And then the second half for you when we return to South Florida. Miami leading New England 8-7. At the break.
The moment you have all been waiting for has finally arrived. The first rugby game that allows you to play and get rewards is now live. Step into tournaments, be the ultimate manager, earn free jerseys and match tickets. It is the heart of rugby, now in digital glory. Build your strategy using real player cards. It's your game, your moves. Buy, trade, play, and create your lineup. For cards, your legacy. Experience rugby like never before. Take your fantasy rugby experience to the next level. Join Overlay.
Folks, we are here to make the fast food business faster. Many times we don't really know what to order, but there is a part of your body That always does.
Introducing Taste ID. Taste ID will revolutionize the way that your consumers consume.
With just one generous lick. Oh, sorry. There we go. Taste ID will create and order exactly the combo you would like to eat.
And apologies, there's just the one prototype, so you'll just feel free to share.
How do you know our customers will like it?
Like it? They're gonna lick it. Nice. Go ahead, lick it, Bob. It has an antivirus. You gotta lick it to get the French fries, Bob.
Come on, where's the Bob we saw last night at the hotel bar?
Get a technology partner that knows your business and your consumers. Globant, technology that really dares to delight.
Welcome to All Access at the Half. I'm Stacey Pates along with Mark Stabina. It's time now for Emoji Puzzles, 60 Seconds with Stacey and Stabby. And today we welcome in Anthem Rugby Carolina's very own Josh Shetler. Hey, Josh, good to see you.
Welcome, Josh.
Good to see you guys.
This is going to be fun, so let's fire it up. What do you think this might be?
Ooh.
No, it's a movie.
Bear.
It's a movie.
Oh, no. Bear, dog, tiger, house.
Yeah, work it out, work it out.
Animal House.
Oh, I love it. Animal House. Is that it? Is that it? It is. Nice work. Okay, moving on. Oh, this is good. This is easy. Okay, we got this one.
Is this Charlotte's Web?
You got it. It's got to be it.
Oh, and how appropriate.
Dinosaur.
Dinosaur.
Yeah, a coaster.
Yeah, work this out, work this out. Oh, a book and a movie. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, you got this.
Jurassic Park?
Yes! Good job. Okay, more time on the clock. 15 seconds for this one. Here we go.
Eye of the Tiger.
It's got to be it. Excellent
didn't even
choice.
get the clue. Didn't even need the
Excellent
clue.
choice. Very good. Josh Shetler, so good. Yes, sir. Okay, how much time? Let's see if we can get another one in, at least another one. Oh, this is easy. Mark loves this so much. This is the last one. You know this. You got this.
Anchorman.
Yes. Oh my
perfect
gosh.
score. Is that our first?
That's our first perfect score. He got none wrong. Anchorman. Josh, that was incredible. So good. And that was 60 Seconds with Stacey and Stabby. I hope you had as much fun as we did because that's super fun, right? It's nice to kind of do something silly here and there. Well, fans, we would love for you to be part of our show. All you have to do is send in some photos from your game day experience, and you can send that to us at allaccess@usmlr.com, and you might see yourself right here on our show. That is All Access every Tuesday on Fox Sports 2. Enjoy the rest of the game.
To understand the game in its fullest, you need to understand what's happening to the ball.
Gilbert is synonymous with every major event that's happened in our sport.
The ball is a conductor of the orchestra. We put a tiny microchip inside the ball. We're getting location information from the ball, speed, spin, distance, trajectory, hang time.
The technology and the innovation behind this ball is truly a game changer.
There might be some dark days, and who have you relied on, and who's been sort of your support system to get you through those times?
For me, especially with this whole process, has been, talking to my loved ones and my close family.
Especially when I'm on the road, get a bit of homesickness, but fortunately with technology these days, I'm able to call the missus, call my parents, stay connected with the people who supported me through all my tough times.
When the times get toughest, those are the people that I turn to, and God is who I turn to, and I've been able to get strength from it.
Making sure you're managing your relationships, leaning on the people that you know you can lean on.
It's been huge. It's a really important thing for the players to know, to talk to someone, to open.
How brilliant is it in terms of having this teammate environment that obviously you go out there physically and try and dominate with each other, but then again, it's that sort of camaraderie that is so important to then having good mental well-being.
I think you build so many great friends throughout rugby that is like my safe place.
Your life is kind of like a stool. If you only have rugby and there's only one peg, it's easy to topple over.
Yeah.
But once you have multiple pegs, you have your family, you have a mental health lead, you have those resources, and you have more stability, you're not going to topple over. And that's something that I really take with me everywhere I go.
That's a good. Gives it a booty kick, and he collected. He does. He's on the run. He gives it another kick.
Nice goalie, soccer goalie save by McKenna.
Like, ball's still active though, still in gold hands. Jared Adams there.
He loves
Big crop.
He loves to have a rumble.
Oh, he does. He's beat two. He needs to beat one more. Can he stay on his feet? Can he get over the line? He was just about there. Does he do it? Yes, he does. That's another try.
Let's have a look at some highlights from last night's match between Seattle and DC at Tequila at Starfire Sports Stadium. It took 37 minutes before either team scored a try, and this one from Cam Orr took Seattle to an 11-6 lead. It was 11-9 at halftime, and then DC comes out firing with a try early on to John Powers, and the lead 16-11 before Mahonre Nakaru gains the lead again at the 53rd minute for Seattle. Truly was a thriller, and the game hung in the balance until a red card to Tavita Nangali gave the advantage to Seattle. Manate Akwe scores 26-19, and then somehow DC miraculously keeps the ball in the field of play. Talataina scores the try, and all of a sudden it's 26-24 with the kick to come to equalize. But Jason Robinson rarely falls short, and he did. And they celebrate a close fought victory up there in Seattle, 26-24. What a game.
It's time for the American Airlines fly around the league. Last night, the lone match we have in the books thus far. 2 tomorrow, Chicago and NOLA in the Windy City, and LA hosting their fellow Golden State foe. San Diego makes the short trip up. That'll be a good one in the Western Conference. Halftime, just 1 point separating these two. As we take a look at our current Globe standings, things very tight as we get to the final few weeks of the regular season. All these sides trying to make the playoffs. Houston, 3-point lead over Seattle. And then the big gulf there in the West is Dallas, San Diego, Utah, all fighting for that third spot. New England, they have a 4-point lead, but watch out, NOLA Chicago very much in the mix, as is Old Glory. Halftime here in South Florida. The Sharks ahead, but by the narrowest of margins. Stick with us here in Miami.
Rugby's always this macho setting that, you know, it's all about strength. You don't want to show any weakness, but the reality is that people do go through their own battles. Why is it important for us all within the rugby community to really kind of normalize this conversation that surrounds mental health?
We play in a very high stress situation all the time.
There's always a stigma around men that we have to be bravado and like strong.
Within every player, there's always something that you don't always, bring forth to the table, you don't always put out.
Sometimes you don't know it's affecting your game.
Learning ways to connect with other guys, be in environments where you can have the right conversations, be yourself, and share has been super helpful and super important to me in my career, and it's allowed me to grow and mature to the point where, I can handle what professional rugby is going to throw at me.
I think rugby's best played when you're happy and you're enjoying it and you're confident. And I think that these core tenets of being able to play well are fundamentally structured in having a clear mind and not having anything weighing and dragging you down. So clearing up and strengthening the mental aspect is going to inevitably affect the physical aspect. So I think they're completely connected there.
It's hugely important for the safety and well-being of players. looking after their mental health, but more importantly off the pitch. At the end of the day, we're not just players, we're humans, and we need to look after ourselves.
With the right plan, the right team, and hard work, even the most unpredictable events can be overcome. At USI, you have the whole team on your side, protecting you from the unexpected and making sure you bounce back better than ever. We take the time to understand your concerns and provide solutions with customized game plans for you and your business. It's Major League focus and results for you, and we call it the USI One Advantage.
When we pick up the ball, we also pick up a legacy. A legacy that stretches beyond your current team. A legacy built on the backs of those who came before you with hard work. And for those who will come after you, we promise it won't be easy. But we'll be there, supporting you on and off the field.
Today's presentation of Major League Rugby is brought to you by Arctic Outdoors. Overbuilt, not overpriced. By Shop MLR. Get your MLR fan gear today at shopmlr.com. By Oli Salomaria, the official protein snack of Major League Rugby. And by USI, the preferred insurance provider of Major League Rugby. Well, let's take a look at our first half stats presented by Sportable, and obviously the lineouts, that continues to be an issue for New England.
It does. We talked about it, didn't we, at the start of the show, that set piece needs to improve. And we look at the penalties, just one more penalty from Miami, fairly even there, but they're making New England tackle. Twice as many tackles, which means twice as many tackles missed. And that's what they need to continue doing, Miami, is starve New England of ball, move them around. They're mixing up the play really nicely. And New England have a game on their hands.
They do indeed, as we get ready for the second half. Luisa Kyle Sequeira, Putnam, Connecticut native and local favorite, Ben Bonasso, USA Eagle. Second half just about to get underway. New England 7-3, Miami 3-7. But it was 50-50 through the first 40. Neither side really able to get away from the other. New England struck first. Miami responded. Smith with the try in the 27th. But New England, much like they started the match, looking to come out in the second on the front foot, put the pressure back on Miami and retake the lead. Bailey, Patros, crossfield kick. Has Wilson taken cleanly. Wilson tried to get around one, couldn't get the offload. Nick Grigg was there, but he couldn't make the interception.
And straight away in the second half, New England willing to take some risks. He was playing advantage, so maybe not that risky after all, but Wilson was there unmarked initially. Miami doing well to intercept, get in the way. It's going to come all the way back to the original penalty, so New England still with the advantage. The field position they want. Patros just signaling to the referee he'd like to have a crack at 3 points, and therefore the lead.
You're exactly right. He missed both penalty attempts in the first half, in the 35th and 38th respectively, but those were from closer to midfield, and you would imagine this just outside the 22. Much more routine for last year's leading scorer and player of the year, Jason Patros. Raises the flags and puts New England back ahead. Free Jacks 10, Sharks 8. And Patros quickly able to find points for New England here in half number 2.
He's put his goal kicking boots on at halftime. Needed to fix those wayward kicks to build the score.
See Miami having made a change is Tomas Cáceres coming on, taking the place of Roloff Smith as the outside flanker. Cáceres, the 25-year-old Argentine, had a General Pacheco there in northern Buenos Aires. He himself a New England independent, part of that academy program last season. They're no stranger to the Free Jacks as the first replacement on for Miami, and right through the breadbasket of Ethan Fryer, the youngster. One that he knows he needs to come up with cleanly.
Once again, Kit, we talk about it, don't we? When you score points, when you come back, that opposing team is going to kick off and they're going to want to try and force the error and get right back into things. So you need to be focused, and Ethan Fryer on that occasion not quite focused. Now New England under pressure.
They are indeed. Miami looking to retake the lead. The back and forth affair. And as close as this match is, it may well be a single mistake that decides it.
Could very well be, and there's been quite a few errors. And more importantly, both teams' ability to punish the error. You see New England just pouncing on any turnovers, and Miami, with the way they love to play in the open as well, that's what they relish, is if they can force a turnover from a mistake. Now all of a sudden they have a New England defensive team in 6s and 7s. Likes of Echeverry and these players that can just slice and dice.
Ogueli waiting the signal to send in. We'll see what the forwards from Miami can get here. Sharks had some forays inside New England's 22 in the first half. Ultimately just a lone try. Grigg, his first receiver. Scott's been able to find Inciarte. Cubelli quick to the breakdown. Tries to get away from Calameti. Still on his feet, inside, just 3 meters out. Miami in business. But it's New England defense doing their job just when it looked like Miami was bearing down. They forced the knock on.
Yeah, I'd love to see here. We might see who that initial tackler was that held Cubelli up. There it is, the opposite man, Calameti, and of course now becomes a maul. And if the ball doesn't come out from the maul, it is a turnover, which is what the referee was right there to signal. So well done, Calameti. It was the initial point of contact. Kept Cubelli up, and then the rest of the New England troops came in to help out.
Now the 24-year-old, originally from Fiji. Former England U18 man, ready to put in, see if he can turn some defense to offense. And the touch finder there, not finding the space they were looking for on the kick. Morgan Puturangi sends that one out just about 10 meters away. Well, Miami still with the opportunity, still inside of the 22. You see how the backs are situated. Rose, last year's first overall draft pick in the MLR Collegiate Draft with the successful line-out take. McNulty there at the back, still with it. Sean McNulty. Looking for the opportunity to peel off. Miami 5 meters away. McNulty still on his feet. McNulty spins. Just shy of the try line. Inches away are the Sharks. Home fans making noise, trying to give the home side that extra boost. Can they cross here? Giving it a go, tried to submarine underneath, still short. Evans gives it a go, knocked back, second effort. Wow, still nothing. What a job, the wall of light for the Free Jacks. Olsen, one of the men leading the charge there. Miami continues to batter away, tries to get across the whitewash. Back they go. It went back and all the way back to the 22. They were inches away, now 20 meters. Echeverry puts a step on Wilson. what a job defensively. Under the pump were the Free Jacks, and they did not concede.
Oh, that was outstanding. Look here, the driving maul. McNulty breaks away. How did he not score? He's so close. You see him go down toward the sideline. Bailey doing his best to get over, and then inches shy. And that would be the theme for the next 4 or 5 phases for Miami. Great defense from New England there, but then I think later on when it spun out wide, perhaps offside ruled. You did see New England players race up. Mitch Wilson, one of them, forcing the handling error of Miami.
So New England making changes, 3 in fact. So it'll be Malachi Halanatsai, the 21-year-old former All-Black U20. Front row comes on, as does John Roy Jenkinson and Martin Segren, the Chilean international, first Chilean to play in England. Former Doncaster man making an appearance. So reinforcements, 2 in the front row for the Free Jacks. Miami still with the opportunity, 5 meters away. Evans gives it a go. Gueli tries to get it out. Olsen back to Greg. Right at Quattrin. Scotsman inside. Arthau now, the Uruguayan, tries to get across. Waiting for the signal. And he is held up.
Wow, how long can this New England defense hold on with this kind of pressure? They will have a pressure release now with a goal line dropout, but Greg, he does an exceptional job getting over the tackle line, and then the timing was impeccable of Ardao coming around the corner. Equally impressive with the New England defenders right there to make the hit. He had the momentum to take them over the try line.
The body language of Andrew Quattrin says it all right now. The men in white absolutely gassed as we take the opportunity to head back down pitch side to check in with Thomas.
Yeah, thanks, Kit. Well, the news is obviously good because we've got play underway, and the official word from my meteorologist is that the Lightning was passing between clouds and not actually touching the ground. So rugby's going to be played here in Fort Lauderdale, which is fantastic stuff. Absolute desperation from the Free Jacks here. Miami Sharks throwing absolutely everything at them in the opening 10 minutes of the second half. We have a big 30 minutes to play, ladies and gentlemen. Strap yourselves in. It is going to be an epic clash for the rest of this one.
I could not have said it better. Our man Thomas Grant down pitch side. Weather does not appear that it will be an issue. Fingers crossed. And this match befitting the occasion. Just 2 points separating these side. Miami, the 1 point lead at half. New England, the only points in the second. Patros with the penalty in the 42nd. Kubeli and the Sharks looking to respond, and they have had opportunities, not meters, but inches away from that try line, but unable to get across. And New England wins the penalty here, and Bonasso taking to some offense, it appears. Ben Bonasso, see if cooler heads will prevail. Miami needs to be careful. We talk about the discipline for this Miami side, 13 yellows. Only Los Angeles has seen more, and they need to be careful. They do not have a man sent to the bin.
Huge play. I think it was Fryer. Look at the, made the tackle, and then I guess he showed the referee enough space between himself and the tackled player, releasing the tackled player. You've got to show your arms, show that you're not holding on before you steal the ball, and he did enough.
And remember, this is his first MLR start. The young man from the Evergreen State is 22 years of age, and he is putting on quite the display.
Certainly is. Opportunity for him to step up.
Yeah, part of Pacific Pride and that Canadian national team training group there in British Columbia. Mentioned those changes coming just a few minutes ago. Halan outside, John Roy Jenkinson in the front row. Martin Segren came in as well. Here's another look.
So it's after the penalty was given, and then some offense taken to a little push and shove, some argy-bargy. How appropriate is that term when you're talking about Miami?
If the Argentines are involved, is it still Archie-Bargy? Baker unable to hold it. Knocked on. Mentioned the handling issues, and there's one there. Rare miscue from Fryer. He was the jumper. Again, what a stellar match that young man has had. He was looking for Baker. Baker just didn't anticipate that ball coming his way.
Really hard to tell if Baker was even supposed to be near that ball or if that ball was supposed to go anywhere near him. Looked like a somewhat elaborate play, a rehearsed move he would do at practice, and just some miscommunication, misfire, mis-execution, hard to tell. But one thing's for sure, the line-out woes continue for New England. This is not helping their set-piece statistics for the season at all.
No, not one bit. But also a few words there from our referee, Andrew Cole. Again, Miles McIver, Tom Sampa are the assistants. Derek Summers, our TMO. All have done a fantastic job this evening as Sets Baker getting taped up. The Auckland native, former Tasman Mako man. What a first year he's had in Major League Rugby. You talk about some of the new additions for the Free Jacks. You can argue he's maybe the biggest.
Most definitely. He has an impact when he's out there. Still getting used to his surroundings, and it's already a team that's used to having a certain amount of cohesion. A lot of combinations and partnerships formed over the last couple of seasons, and for someone to come in and have to fit into that, it's not an easy task.
He's really installed himself in that 15 as one of the starting back rows. It is rare you do not see him. Free Jacks see that almost double what Miami is scoring. 4.3 versus 2.4 tries a game. For all the possession territory Miami's had, we said it, they need points, but the scrum does the job for the Sharks. This is where they have to really flex their muscle. Massage, the captain, his first captaincy for the Free Jacks, trying to calm down his troops.
Well, they've flexed their muscle, but they're also flexing their mouths and their jaws at the moment, taunting the opposition. Referee Cole didn't like that one little bit. So Miami having the penalty reversed on them.
What a massive mistake from the Sharks. You win the scrum penalty, and then you saw Evans and a few of his cohorts for the Sharks had a few words to say to the Free Jacks, and you give it right back. In a match like this, as tightly contested as it is, against the defending champions, a team that beat you 25-3 back in round 6 in New England, you could not make those kind of mistakes. And here comes Quatrin and the Free Jacks back to work. Another poor line-out throw. Sounding like a broken record, and that is something you know Free Jacks fans are tired of hearing.
Yeah, Miami able to get a hand to it, but unfortunately for them, came off the hand and went forward.
And here comes a big change. Wayne Vanderbank, first 15 last week. We get another look there at the line-out miscue. Vanderbank, the Pretoria native. He's second on this side, tied for 5th in MLR with 5 tries. Last week, had a try, 109 meters gained, 14 ruck arrivals for the South African. He's also 10th in the league in tackles with 87. Last week, he came off the bench against San Diego, was a huge impact, as that first 15 honor shows. See if he can do it again today.
Great angle there of the New England back line. Just seeing their alignment from scrum. Maybe give us some clues on kind of attacking set play they're about to launch at this Miami defense.
Talking to, again, the new front rows for New England, as you have Halanatsai and Jenkinson and bookending Quatrin. a beautiful evening here in South Florida. Very happy Memorial Day to you as well. Hope you have a great weekend. Glad you could spend a bit of it with us here on FS2 for this Eastern Conference clash. New England trying to extend the lead, and the largest lead they had, that was 7-0 early on before Videla was able to find points for Miami. Here comes Vanderbank, the new addition on cue, immediately getting involved. Oh, what an offload. Somehow able to get his hands free. Finds Calametti. Quattrin. Vandenhoven there. Bonasso as well. Sigrin. Calametti keeps it. Unable to get by Cáceres. No, he does. Keeps his feet churning forward. And Miami penalized at the breakdown. They need to be careful. We'll see what the Free Jacks select to do in this situation.
Calametti doing a fine job, just keeping his team driving forward, pumping the legs. Connor Keys coming in to add some assistance, as was Baker. Not making things easy, Miami. Hell of a defensive effort to keep a team like New England, who we showed before are scoring on average 4 tries per game. That's a bonus point per game through tries, to be kept at only 1.
You could see Patros there. He didn't want the tee. He wanted a chance to dot one down for 5. And this is really an opportunity for New England to find something, extend the lead, and put the pressure on Miami. 25 minutes remaining. Miami almost 140 meters conceded from penalties. And it's turned over. Greg, Inciarte, Echeverri. To the boot, his opposite number. No trouble. Here comes Daniel Morgan Pudarangi, weaving his way through. Morgan Pudarangi. Videla finally able to bring him to ground. Vanderbank right at Oideman. Nowhere for Quattrin to go. Met by a pair of Sharks. Patros. Halanatai with a rare carry for the replacement front row. Bailey now, wisely back to Patros. Through the fingertips of Fryer and knocked on.
Playing advantage was the referee, I believe, for a high tackle. Seemed that Oideman came in and see it right here. Well, that was the drop later on, but the offense happened phases ago. So just starting to make some inroads. New England. And a yellow card, so it was indeed Oideman.
So Oideman sees yellow, and we mentioned Miami, the discipline. That is their 14th yellow of the season. But strangely, just the first for Avery Oideman. Miami down a man for the next 10. Oideman in the bin. The Canadian will have 10 minutes to think about it. What can New England do with this man advantage? Watch it. Back to the line out. If ever they needed a good throw, it's now. Stolen away, Miami. Vandenhoven there. Big Dutchman doing his job with the line out steal. So Bailey on top of Evans as Cáceres comes in, and now the fray ensues. Trying to separate the sides, and you can see Marcos Young doing his best, as is the captain Lesage, trying to allow a few seconds for cooler heads to prevail.
I hate to see it. Clearly a lot of frustration, but it would be a shame if the frustration turns into more yellow cards. This is where it happened, and it happened off the ball. Once the ball goes to ground, right there, Bailey digging his knees into Rob Evans, and then in come the reinforcements. Casares unhappy with what he saw. Fortunately, no punches were thrown.
Kyle Bailey, the Canadian international, 34-year-old out of Prince Edward Island. First year with New England, formerly of Old Glory, Toronto, and NOLA. Our TMO, Eric Summers, will take a look. New England, one of the least penalized sides. They've seen just 8 yellow cards. Bailey has not seen a yellow this season. He hopes that remains the case.
Wow. Really difficult one. It seemed originally that he was brought down and was just trying not to get tangled up with Rob Evans, and Rob Evans was holding on to him, but might be what happened shortly after when... I'd hate to speculate. Let's leave it to the TMO, shall we?
Well, there is the yellow, so Kyle Bailey heads to the bin. Joining Avery Oideman, both sides now with a man in the bin. So New England, less than 60 seconds, they had the man advantage before Bailey heads in, and now both teams will be playing with 14 for the next 9+.
Will that hurt New England, having Bailey, who's in the engine room, off the field? Oideman, a class player, but you can sometimes cover up for having a wing off the field more than having one of your biggest forward players off the field. And you see that especially with driving mauls close to the line, and that's what Miami are going to try and do. Get down into the right end of the field. And if they can put New England in a situation where it's Miami's pack versus New England's pack, that's where they'll see the advantage.
Oideman and Bailey played together when they were with the Toronto Arrows. I don't know that they're going to be rehashing great memories right now, as they're obviously dueling forces today. But for right now, both teams 14 all. McNulty just a bit too high, trying to find Bonasso. Whatever man advantage New England had is very short. Bailey returns the favor, and Miami still very much in this one. Just 2 points adrift. Still over 20 minutes to play. Mentioned the discrepancy in yellow cards. Miami, one of the top penalized teams. New England, one of the better behaved sides. Patros. Morgan Puttarangi, unable to get by Greg. Scotsman has had an impressive match this evening. Kalameti back to Patros. To the boot he goes. The high hanger. Videla able to shake off one would-be tackle. Tries to get by Lesage. Videla with space. Offloads to McDonald. And the prop could not hold on to it. Back it goes. No, it was indeed knocked on. Alec McDonald.
Such a shame. Great play from Videla. Evades one. First, he had to take the ball under pressure. And then the no-look pass, and that's probably what did it. McDonald not expecting the ball either, but it was straight into the breadbasket, so a real let-off for New England. low-scoring game, partly due to some fantastic defense from both teams, but also these mistakes, just very big part of the game tonight.
You combine that with the heat, obviously the humidity, making handling a bit of an issue as well. But you're right, very low-scoring game, and Miami fans are unfortunately accustomed to seeing that from their Sharks. Not the case for New England fans. Vanderbank knocks it on right into the hands of Bonasso. Sigurd unable to rip it away. Grigg. Videla has Echeverri. Marcos Young on the side. Echeverri goes to the boot. Calametti read it well, saw it coming. Calametti directing traffic. New England giving themselves a chance here. Fryer right into the fray. Patros. A cross-field kick right into the outstretched arms of Inciarte. Tomas Inciarte through one, has the offload to Casares. Argentine finally brought down. It'll pick and go. Cubeli inside the 22. Casares now. Replacement forward making an impact. Over the top, Marcos Young with it somehow shakes off the would-be tackle of Olsen. Miami in business, fans on their feet, hoping they can come away with a try. Grigg with the kick, looking for Videla. Patros able to get on top of it.
Oh, so lucky. New England, a clever little kick through from Grigg. And then the penalty coming in, because when a player goes to ground fielding a ball, you need to let him get to his feet. Let's have a look from the front on angle. Superb angle. Is he not allowed, or was it just going straight off his feet at ruck time? The Miami player.
You see Patros averaging almost 42 meters a kick, but just gaining 20. A lot of hands on hips right now for both sides, but particularly for the men from New England. The weather, as Thomas mentioned earlier, something they are not accustomed to, and you think at this stage probably taking its toll. Miami bringing reinforcements on. Jonas Petrakopoulos comes on as the 25-year-old former Atlanta man, as does Michael Atete, the longtime Bath man. So 2 changes in the forwards for Miami. We'll take our second final hydration break. Just 2 points. Free Jacks with a narrow lead with 20 to go.
I chose to take Thorne supplements over another brand because they're sports backed. The products are also top of the line and they also taste great. It's important that the substances athletes take are tested for banned substances. One, because you want to make it a fair, even game, especially with the other players. And you want to make sure what you're putting into your body as an athlete is clean, researched, science-based, and it's healthy for you. So you want to put good in and get good out.
Yeah, Thorne has helped me a lot, especially in the last couple of months. I've had to pack on some weight to be able to play in this league. And I think taking creatine and protein every day and adding in a couple other things has made me a better athlete, a bigger athlete, stronger athlete, and just overall prepared me well. So I take creatine every morning when I first wake up. It's kind of like my checklist or part of my routine. I usually have a protein shake, a Thorne whey as well. So I usually just throw it in there or throw it in with some BCAAs. Whey protein definitely makes my life easier because I can come straight off the gym, straight off the pitch, and it takes 30 seconds to mix up a protein shake and get down some extra protein.
Yeah, welcome back into all the viewers at home. It is the away side, the Free Jacks, with a slender lead, 10 points to 8. And while things on the field are intensifying greatly, someone that has to keep a cool, calm head throughout it all is the CEO of the Miami Sharks, Mariano Filippini. Tell me first, Mariano, the atmosphere tonight is absolutely electric. How proud are you to have this kind of support in year one?
Can't be more proud about it. It is intense, It is vibrant, and we're hoping to get as many people to join this incredible atmosphere that we have here in the stadium.
And building a club is no easy task. What are some of the challenges that you've faced building the Sharks this year, and what do you hope to do for the future?
Look, we've been learning week after week. We've been incredibly surprised by the amazing community, rugby community that's here in Florida, and that's the most satisfying piece of everything. Look, and the results are here in the environment, which is great. So I'm glad that we're learning every week, and I'm glad that what's happening here in the stadium.
Well, your boys are in it, out there on the field. Good luck for the rest of the match. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kit. Back up to you.
Thank you, Thomas, and thank you to Mariano Filippini and his entire crew there. What a great addition they have been to Major League Rugby. The atmosphere, the electricity, as they mentioned, and it's always been good rugby in Florida, but now they have their own side. As Echeverri finds a way through, Inciarte. Tomas Inciarte cuts back by Patros. Inciarte. And what a job coming to wrestle him to ground just 5 meters out. The defense for New England continues to stand strong. That time Holden Youngert coming out of nowhere to make the try-saving tackle. Miami still the opportunity. Kubeli. Wilson, Morgan Pudarangi able to hold him up. Another go. Marcos Young. Miami still with it, but they need points. Both teams down a man. Oideman and Bailey for the Sharks and Free Jacks, respectively, in the bin.
Ethan Fryer again. Huge play. Miami can't believe it. That initial break from Echeverri and then just battering away. But the cover defense, exceptional from New England. Look at this. Little sleight of hand, and Inciarte manages to shrug off Potros.
That was Holden Youngert with the tackle. He had been on the pitch for seconds.
Try saver. Absolute try saver from Youngert. Saved the day for New England, and that allowed the rest of his team to come across and form a defensive line. But essentially, it was really Fryer that came up with the big play, halted the progression of Miami, who at this stage are probably wondering what they need to do to cross that try line again.
What a match for Fryer. Again, it bears repeating. His first MLR start tonight came out of the Independence, the Free Jacks Academy. He's putting on a show tonight, is the youngster. And you're right, for Miami, so many trips inside the 22, and only once have they been able to come away with a try. The good news is it's the same for New England. And right now, those 2 penalties that Patros missed at the end of the first half looming large. That would certainly have given them some breathing room. It stands just a 2-point Free Jacks lead. If you're a Miami fan, we mentioned it earlier, the try-scoring struggles they have had. You've seen it, the free-flowing, high-octane rugby they play, throwing the ball around the pitch. Once you get inside the 22, you have to figure out a way to get points. That has been a real issue this year. Keys. Patros, a little chip over. Read well by Inciarte. He was trying to find Lesage, was Patros. Ueli. Cáceres nearly bobbled it. McNulty is Miami just about 2 minutes away from Oideman coming out of the bin. Quatron ends up with it, has a man, Wilson. Little kick through. Grigg, as he has been all night on the spot, another one of the Miami players who's had an impressive evening.
He sure has. And even just to get back into position, to be able to relieve some pressure for Miami was no mean feat. Quatron comes away with it, and then ball in 2 hands. Mitchie Wilson toes it ahead. Here comes Grigg to save the day. Hacks at that one a little bit, but that's okay as long as he just gets it out of his 22. All the pressure was being piled on to the Miami team.
I mentioned the former Scottish international, the Hawke's Bay man in MPC. He has the ability to play both inside and outside center, just a versatile player.
Clever play from New England there.
Was indeed, and this Baker almost lost it. Came out of his hands, unfortunately for New England, right back into the hands of number 7. Keys waiting his first receiver. Miami penalized. Youngert looking for the quick restart. As it'll be Naposki coming out for Oideman. Oideman, his yellow card is now up, as it'll be Naposki, the number 1 overall pick by Dallas back in 2021, making his first appearance. New England making a change in the front row as Mason Cook, the Iowa native, comes on to take over for Quattrin.
And Kit, did we just see another penalty reversal? Was in favor of New England, and I thought for all money that Andrew Cole was going to reach into his pocket for another yellow card. And maybe some back chat again. We missed it, but all of a sudden, Miami with the penalty. So taking control of this game, Andrew Cole.
Arvao, the man there. The Uruguayan international, an absolute breakdown. Jackal is in the bin. Miami's 2nd yellow of the match, and that is Arvao's 4th yellow this season. As good as he is, that is a liability. 4 yellows through the first 10.5 matches.
Especially when he makes such an impact when he's on the field. They really miss him when he's off it.
Miami back down a man. Yes. Another knock on.
Oh, and a huge let off. Doesn't he know it as well? He was just formulating his next move, Santiago Videla, before properly catching that scrum half pass from Kubeli, and he knows it. It happens, but that's really been the theme of the game. Both of these teams finding themselves in commanding positions, only just to knock the ball on, create some kind of error that lets the opposition off the hook. It's been like that all night.
The captain, Tomas Coeli, comes off. Miami will have a replacement scrum half for the remainder, hoping that he can guide them to a victory here at home. Trailing by 2, just over 10 minutes to play. Miami team that has improved week in and week out, coming off a bye. They fell 25-3 back in round 6 at Fort Quincy, up at Veterans Memorial Stadium in Massachusetts. The Canadian international Giuseppe Toy on for the Sharks. Vanderbank tries to weave his way through. Big Michael Atete having none of it. Wilson has come off. Killian Coughlin on in his stead, the USA U20 selection. Did not get a play due to the pandemic. As Halanatai gives it a crack. Younger directing traffic. You see the fatigue on both sides. It has been an absolute physical contest. The heat, the humidity playing a role. Both teams just trying to find something for that final push. Back to Echeverri. Patros back inside his 22. Morgan Pudarangi now. Booming kick from the Kiwi. Echeverri by 1, has the offload to Videla. Able to find Inciarte. Now Bonasso with a step back inside. The big man making things happen is the back rower. And there is a free jack down on the pitch. Play will stop, and Andrew Cole immediately bringing the trainers out to take a look. Never a good sight. That is not what you want to see. Just under 10 minutes remaining. That is Mason Cook, the replacement hooker. Not been on the pitch more than 5 minutes. The 27-year-old out of Coralville, Iowa. First year with New England after previous stops in Chicago and Austin.
Well, that is good news there. He's moving his fingers, moving his arms. Oh, head clash. Saw it clearly from that angle. Accidental.
The Ivy Leaguer, four-time Ivy League champion with Dartmouth College, and also an All-American in his time there at the university level. And that is a great sign. He is sitting up. Cook back on his feet.
I have to think he'd be taken off for an HIA, an injury assessment. A little groggy there. That is not looking good for Mason. Such a shame to come on and immediately engage in a head clash.
Recently come on the substitution for Quattro, and he was, you saw it right head-to-head with Alec McDonald. Simply trying to make the tackle. Quattro will come back on. Nick Grigg, that says it all. He has done it all. Cook getting a well-deserved round of applause as you said, he will be evaluated in HIA coming for that young man. Safety first and foremost, as it well should be. Scrum down Miami. Tomas Inciarte now acting as the scrum half with Kubeli off. Inciarte, the former Peñarol man, began his career, his test career as a scrum half for Uruguay. Has considerable experience at the position with Iteros, part of their 23 and 19 World Cup sides. Back to Detroit, Canadian international. Inciarte. Atete. Under 10 minutes remaining as Videla goes to the boot. Right to Patros. Streaming forward. Olsen there with the carry. And knocked on. Jackson Thebus, the Montana native, first season back after 3 seasons with New England between 19 and 21. 2-year absence from professional rugby to concentrate on his career outside of the sport. Now back. Both teams an opportunity to catch their breath. Again, Manuel Ardao is in the bin for Miami for the next 5 minutes. Uruguayan international picking up his 4th yellow of the season. Miami's 2nd of the match as Oideman saw one in the 56th. Jose Pelacena looking on. His team has done everything except for dot it down when inside the 22. The lone try tonight, a team averaging just under 2.5 tries a match. That is almost dead last in the league. New England almost doubling them at over 4 tries per contest. Change at hooker as well. McNulty coming off. Alex Glover comes on, does the Oakland native. Saw a few minutes of action last year in one match for Seattle, for the former St. Mary's College man.
Look at this game has been stop and start and a lot of breaks, a lot of errors, but it hangs in the balance. It is anyone's game right now. So you can't say that it's not a tense affair out here.
It certainly is, and obviously both teams be thinking they have the opportunity to come away with the spoils, and they both well should. Miami, can they find something against the run of play? Stripped away. Phoebus ends up with it, and Miami turns it over yet again. Continues to be one of the issues tonight for the Sharks here at home. The turnovers, missed opportunities inside the 22. And then given a right back with a knock on by New England.
And what's evident now, Kit, is fatigue setting in. You can see it with the body language of New England. That's also going to contribute to errors. The heat taking its toll on the boys from Boston.
Take a look at our sportsbreaks.com player of the match candidates. Obviously, the youngster Ethan Fryer, what a match he has had in his first MLR start. Echeverri has been stellar, as has his countryman Inciarte. Both of them doing yeoman's work for the Sharks. And if New England hangs on for this victory, what a debut in his first start for Fryer it will be, and a memorable one on the road if his side comes away with the win in South Florida. Let's not jump to conclusions. As you said, this one's still very much hanging in the balance. 5 minutes to go. Patros missed 2 penalties. He's only 2 for 3 in penalties in this match. Missed 2 at the end of the first half, so far from sure if he has the opportunity to kick for post to extend this New England lead. As Miami penalized at the breakdown. And that time it's Sigurdsson, the Chilean, who wins the penalty.
Oh, this is going right to the wire. Great take from the fly half, but tackle from Coughlin gave New England the momentum.
Coughlin gets the start. They thought it may be Reese McDonald. They've elected to keep him out another week just to be sure before he comes back on for New England. Coughlin getting the opportunity, first year for the former University of Cork Constitution man. You see both teams, any opportunity to catch their breath, take a second, they will gladly take. All smiles from Patros. He's just 1 for 3 in penalties.
Looks good.
Right down Main Street. When it matters most, Patros sends it through the sticks, and he makes it New England 13, Miami 8.
Wow, that is leadership right there. It's been a stalemate for the best part of 20 minutes. And Patros, given the opportunity, he steps up, puts it over. But this game is not over. Still only 5 points adrift, Miami.
And Ardal, just about 10 seconds from coming out of the bin. Miami will make it all even for the final few minutes, barring another yellow. Miami has not scored in the second half. They led 8-7 at the break. New England, 2 penalties from Patros here in the second half, 6-0. Outscoring the hosts in what has been a war of attrition. Neither side able to find a try in the second half. Bonasso with the fin. He was trying to get the offload to Grigg, but he couldn't stay in.
Great tackle from Isaac Olsen. As Bonasso tried to shake him off. Didn't quite have the ball in hand. Here comes Olsen coming across. Takes Bonasso high. It looks like it was deemed to come off the New England hand. So Miami with another chance.
Glover, his first throw.
Short arm penalty now. So they can't, if they kick it out, it'll be a New England throw. It's not a full arm penalty. The scrum isn't exactly firing on all cylinders at the moment. So just as I suspected, a tap and go for Miami.
Time of the essence, just over a minute remaining. Ottavao out of the bin. Miami back to all even. 15 on 15 for the final few seconds. Can the Sharks mount the comeback, trailing by 5 just outside the 22? Cole Smith, the lone try tonight, came in the 26th, the only 5-pointer for the Sharks. Videla has the offload into the toy. Setuvole making his pro debut, the 22-year-old out of Hawaii. Videla, nowhere to go. Morgan Pudarangi wrapping him up quickly. Absolute exhaustion on all 30 men on the field. Can Miami dig deep, find something? Tete stumbles forward for a meter. Ottavao, star number 8, tries to take matters into his own hands. Miami fans willing their team towards the try line. Cáceres! Cáceres dots it down! Tomás Cáceres for the Sharks. Miami with the lead, no time remaining.
And it's an automatic 7 because he has scored under the posts. Where did he come from? I don't think the crowd can believe it. They don't care. They're on their feet. What a finish to this game.
Tomás Cáceres, the 25-year-old out of Pacheco there in Tigre, Northern Buenos Aires in Argentina. The replacement second row, formerly of the Independents. He came through the New England Academy, and he makes his former side pay with what you would imagine will be the winner. There it is. It is final. Cáceres has done it. Miami, final few seconds, and they take the 15-13 victory over New England. New England's first road loss of the season. Pelacena and the Sharks with a massive victory, their 4th of the season, as they're able to build on the win over Utah. They have now won 2 in a row here at home.
Incredible stuff. And this is your moment of the match and the try and the replay of the match-winning effort. Cáceres coming out of nowhere. Let's not forget the superb build-up from the rest of his team to get to that point. Multiple phases, slippery ball, big New England defense, but they prevailed.
And Mariano Filippini and the Sharks are celebrating, and rightfully so. Stick with us. We'll talk with our player of the match when we return to Miami after this. Cats. Alatimu through the hands, has Momsen looking for the offload to Murphy. Couldn't get it. Jones ends up with it for Chicago. Bit of broken play here. The Hounds trying to find something. Kick through. O'Keefe giving chase. O'Keefe with it. Oh, what an offload. Finds Dominguez. Dominguez through one tackle. Julian inside the 22. Ya viene Dominguez. Dominguez with the try, his second.
It's here and it's right for you, the rugby fans. It is the Fantasy League
game for Major League Rugby, the only exclusive fancy league game for Major League Rugby globally. Getting started is easy. Just log into the platform, head to the play section, and you're in the game. But there's an important step: connecting your wallet.
That's right. To collect player cards, you need to fund your wallet. Oval E offers various options like Ramp, Taurus, MetaMask, each with its own advantages. This process is just a straightforward way to buy in-game tokens, enhancing your gaming experience by allowing you to access different features and player cards within the game.
Once you're set up, explore the play section to see available tournaments. It's where all the action happens.
Looking for new cards? Head to the primary marketplace. And if you're into trading, the secondary marketplace is your playground to sell and swap cards.
Ooh, Oval E is not just a game, Corbs, it's a rugby community and an experience. Whether you're competing in tournaments or trading cards, there's something for every rugby fan.
Exactly. So log in, set up your wallet, and start your manager's journey in Oval E. It's easy, fun, and the rewards are just waiting for you.
Today's presentation of Major League Rugby is brought to you by Beard Guys, the official grooming partner of Major League Rugby. By Oval E. Play, collect, win with Major League Rugby's official fantasy gaming partner at ovale.game. By RugbyNow.com, your one-stop shop for all your rugby needs. Just the second ever meeting between Miami and New England. Miami fell 25-3 back in round 6 at New England. They return the favorite today at home, 15-13. They take the victory to move to 4-7. The loss drops the Free Jacks to 7-4. Take a look at the updated standings. New England still atop the table in the East. They have a 5-point lead over NOLA and Chicago, respectively. But the Golden Hounds nipping at their heels. And for Miami, some breathing room over Anthem. A massive victory for this first-year franchise. Jose Pelacena and his team come away with a, you would imagine, biggest victory in franchise history over the defending champions. New England, they will head home to take on Dallas next week. Miami on the road, they head west to take on RFC Los Angeles. Well, again, we thank you for joining us and hope you have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Glad you could be a part of it right here. We will speak with our Sports Breaks player of the match coming up momentarily. But an impressive performance. The inclement weather was an issue, the heat and humidity. Some missed opportunities throughout, but ultimately the Sharks able to hold on as they come away with the victory. We mentioned both Chicago and NOLA sitting on 30 points right behind New England, and they will face off tomorrow, will those teams in the Eastern Conference. They're at SeatGeek Stadium in the Windy City, Chicago hosting NOLA. And then the Battle of the Golden State. It'll be our wrap-up to round 13, LA hosting San Diego. Without further ado, let's head down to check in with Thomas, standing by with our Sports Breaks player of the match.
Well, yeah, indeed, I am here with the man of the moment. Such an emphatic win for your Sharks side. You dotted down to secure that dub. What are your emotions right now?
So emotional. I couldn't imagine a moment like this in my life. It was hard, a long way to get in the field, to get in a team, to feel part of a team. Now I feel the team worked hard, and when you work hard, you get points in the last play.
And Tomas Casares, you were a Free Jack last year, and then you've just scored the match winner against the Free Jacks. What'd you write about that? Incredible.
Not so many words to express it. You work hard, you don't get the chance. It's a competitive team, Free Jacks. But you get frustrated, you get emotional, you get in dark places, and when you keep working, you get the chance to show people that doubt you. It's indescribable.
Congratulations to you and the club, mate. This is a history-making win. Go enjoy it with the boys.
Thank you so much, Will. Have a good one.
Back up to you, Kit. We'll be back with the coach very soon.
Impressive stuff right there, Jose Pelacena. It is a lot to celebrate, a lot of cheers for the Miami fans. First year, and as is the case with all first-year franchise, it has ups and downs, as anyone knows, but Mariano Filippini, what a job he and his front office staff have been able to do. Take a look at our final stats brought to you by Sportable. Lineouts continue to be an issue for the Free Jacks. Miami dominated possession and territory and finally able to turn it into points. 163 tackles for the Free Jacks, 34 missed. And they will try to right the ship as we check back in with Thomas standing by with the winning head coach, Miami's Jose Pelacena.
Oh, exactly right. The head coach. I just had a chat to Tomas Casares, who got the game winner. First of all, how was your heart rate? Because that was exhilarating.
Yeah, you know, Miami Sharks use us to arrive to the last minutes, maybe with the heart really blooding very hard. But anyway, I think I'm so happy because mainly for the players. They are doing a huge effort. They are working very hard during the weeks. Some results at the end, we missed some results at the beginning of the season, but I think the team is growing individually and collectively, and that's why we win today, we won today, and hopefully for the future it's a good learning for everybody.
Last question, tell me about the resilience of your side. You must be so proud the way they just dug in there right till the 80th minute and eventually got the dub.
Yeah, you know, it's quite a mix of cultures here in the team, and I think it's amazing. Different cultures with different good things, and the most important thing from my point of view is trying to pick the best of each culture, bring it to the team. We are creating something new, we are building something new, so it's important to have very good players, very good persons that can put good experiences here, and that's why I think the heart is always on the field. After there's some technique stuff, some strategic stuff, but from my point of view, South America and Argentina, and the heart is the most important.
Congratulations, coach. Well deserved. Go enjoy it.
Thanks so much.
Congratulations indeed, Jose Pelacena and the Sharks, as they take the victory for our entire Major League Rugby crew. For Thomas Grant, for my partner Mark Savino, I'm Kit McConico, wishing you good night from South Florida, where the Sharks come away victorious over the Free Jacks 15-13. This has been a presentation of Major League Rugby. We will see you in round 14.
Whey protein is my favorite product. Best part about it is I can have it straight after a workout or a training session.
My favorite product is vitamin D. Back in DC, we practice a lot indoors, especially in winter, don't get a lot of sunlight, so having some vitamin D is important. We select Thorn because we know it's tested and it's safe to use.
Let's get ready. Major League Rugby is now.
This is the moment we waited for. Everything you want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year.
The Rugby Network is giving you all the free MLR content you want, live and on demand. Never miss a hit, never miss a try, never miss your team. MLR on TRN. Never miss a match.
We are here to make the fast food business faster. With just one generous lick. Oh, sorry. There we go. Taste ID will create exactly the combo you would like to eat.
How do you know our customers will like it?
Like it? They're gonna lick it.
Nice.
Get a technology partner that knows your business and your consumers. Globant, technology that really dares to delight.
bass kick. Let the bass kick. Let the bass kick. Let the bass kick.